Hello and welcome to Some of My Friends Read Comics. We've got Chris.
I don't have anything funny to say.
Oh no, we got Vince.
But not before I introduce you to our friend, the oak tree.
Oh, that's too bad. Vince didn't have anything funny to say either.
I work in a Calvin Klein commercial, but not with me. That was my other quote.
I don't remember either of those quotes from these comics here. I'm Kia. Welcome to the show. We're reading some Starman today. And I feel like Starman's not a household name, is he? We'll get into it. And of course, we're continuing our read of Thunderbolts. We're on issue number 22 there. But Starman, who the hell is Starman? Well, I've heard of Stargirl. Stargirl's more popular,
She had a
right?
TV
I was
show,
gonna say
right?
she's closer to being a household name.
Yeah. Starman, I guess, was like a golden age hero who flew around with a cosmic rod or
He's
something.
part of the OG JSA, like the original, like with like the Flash and Jay Garrick and all those. This is the same guy, right? Yeah, and then like the Alan whatever, a Green Lantern, like all those classic versions, and then Starman, also like a green and red Christmas color scheme. But I never had heard of Starman during that point, or the many other Starmans that existed in comics.
Starmen?
The Starmen, yes.
Yes, because I looked it up. There was a Starman series in the 80s who I guess we see at the very spoiler alert for the last page of this book. But there's another Starman, no relation. And then there's, I guess, another Starman who also gets referenced. And then, this is like Starman's son, even though it's been 50 years or 45 years. So
Yes.
I don't know how.
Something like that.
So,
These were from 1995, written by James Robinson, with art by Tony Harris. Have we read anything by James Robinson before?
No, but I think he was pretty he was big in DC around this time and through the 2000s. I feel like he helped relaunch the JSA comic in the early 2000s with Jeff Johns, which tracks.
That sounds right. Yeah, if he was obsessed with that stuff, yeah.
It does seem like something he would like, and if that book is half good, we can give him half credit for it.
He's the good half. And then Tony Harris did Ex Machina with Brian K. Vaughan, which I don't think we've covered any Tony Harris comics either.
I don't think so either. No,
I don't think so. I do really like his art. The art is very good in this.
Yeah. And this series went on for a while, like 90 issues or something like that. Am I making that up?
It's 80-something issues. And then it was, I don't know if it was canceled or it ended, and then it came back for one issue during DC's Blackest Night event, where they revived a bunch of old classic comics for one final issue. So if you ever look at this, it's like Starman Volume 2, like 1995 to 2010. It's because there's one, like issue number 83 in 2010. They did it with a lot of books, which I think is actually like a pretty cool concept. They got back like the creative team to do like one issue, but I hear it's not that good. So.
Yeah. I think he does just retire and gives the stuff to Stargirl.
Yeah.
That's my understanding of what happens, because she has superpowers already before that, and then gets the cosmic rod and starts calling herself.
We are.
But that's not these books. These books is a different guy named Starman immediately dying.
Immediately dying. Yeah, so we're reading the first trade, which was issues 0 through 5, possibly. That's what I wrote down. The last two are definitely like kind of one-shot issues, where the main bulk of the story is the first 4 issues that we'll be talking about. I'm immediately, though, confused why they started with Starman number 0.
It's 0 hour event. DC was starting. It was like one of their events or something. So they started a bunch of new books with issue 0 coming out of it. So that's this one.
It feels very pointless because normally I think of an issue 0 as like kind of like a prequel. Like, hey, let's kind of lay the land here a little bit and get to know what the main story is going to be, and then number 1's going to start the story. No, number 0 is part 1. Number 1 is part 2. Number 2 is part 3. Just deal with it.
Yeah, and it's we've been burned by Wizard half issues.
Half issues, never. -1 issues, maybe sometimes. Half issues, never.
0 issues.
0
TBD.
issues. TBD. All right, so let's jump into it. And then what did I say? Did I say we're doing Thunderbolts 21 or 22? We're on 21, in case I said it wrong. Great. Starman first, though. Starman number 0, Sins of the Father, Part 1. We open on Opal City, and the one and only Starman, David Knight, whose dad was the original Starman, and he is now Starman. And we see him get shot in the chest, and he falls off a building, and he dies. And his cosmic rod is broken.
What, the ignominious end to Starman.
Yep.
Actually, did you know that David Knight actually was in the previous Starman volume, which was from like 85?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, I read that issue because it came up on DC Infinite. There, I saw the traditional Starman with like a 80s 90s looking guy, and I was like, "What's this?" And he basically is like, "You're not the real Starman. I am."
Yeah, because there's like it feels very Captain Marvel-y to me. There's like a lot of people, including an alien that's Starman in the past. Like it feels very much like Captain Marvel to me.
Yeah, it definitely does. Like they just have to protect this IP that we all know and love.
Yep.
And if I wanted to Google image search Starman just to, I recommend it just so you can kind of get an idea at that costume, but ignore all these movie posters. What is Starman? What is this?
Oh, that's a
1984
Jeff Bridges movie where he's like an alien.
John Carpenter's Starman. This is unrelated to John Carpenter's Starman.
No, that's a different IP entirely.
Completely. All right.
Jeff Bridges is an alien.
Sexy
alien.
All right, so Starman is dead, but we get a little bit of a flashback to the family with Dad. What's Dad's name? I just wrote Dad the entire time in my notes. Ted Knight.
It's a very classic 1940s name.
Yeah. And then we've got the two brothers, Jack Knight and David Knight, and they're arguing over a bunch of like brotherly stuff. Jack Knight, is he the younger brother? Did they mention that? Yeah, he wants to be he's like what does he do? He runs a pawn shop. Is that what it is?
He runs like collectibles and but it's like he's very like in our scene it would have been like the kind of like hipster rockabilly scene where he got like old records, or he was like really into like Elvis plates and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to look up if James Robinson looks exactly like Jack Knight, because it feels very much like a self-insert character of like, I like to collect weird shit and I'm gonna be a superhero, aren't I cool? Like it very much feels like that.
Well, he's not like, I want to be a superhero, though. He does not want to be a superhero. He does not want anything to do with the family legacy of being a Starman. He's trying to get his older brothers, like some old memorabilia or whatever, and the brothers arguing with him, like, I don't want you to have it. Like, it's a very kind of brotherly rivalry. And they're adults. The David Knight is in the Starman costume saying, I don't want you to have it. Like that, that kind of stuff.
And Tony Harris, I feel like, is a very like photo referenced kind of artist, but he basically he would like pose actors, so everybody has like a weight to them. You could see a lot more in Ex Machina, but his art is very like realistic proportions of people and like realistic camera angles. It's very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so the two brothers don't exactly have the best relationship. And we keep following Jack Knight, who's going to be our main character throughout all this. He runs, he's headed to his shop. He notices a new fortune teller while he's headed to work is there. When he gets there, he gets a call from his dad that David is dead. And his dad's worried that it's more stuff related to Starman. He tells Jack, hey, there's a cosmic rod mixed in with a bunch of my old stuff in your shop. You should go get that just to have it for protection. I've also got a cosmic belt up there with that I got from Skyman when Skyman died. I've never heard of Skyman. I gotta Google Skyman.
Fighter of the Ground Man. I don't know. But no, like I do like this. He's like a dad that's like, yo, like, there's some shit going down. Like there's a gun I know I put in your place. Just go get it. You'll be fine. Protect yourself.
Just have it.
It's like that's how it feels to me. Although it's like with like cosmic shit, but the way it's just like written and everybody's in like normal clothes, it feels like very like lived in and real. It's pretty cool.
We see his dad heading to his car so he can go to the morgue and I guess identify the body. And on his way out, his home explodes and he gets knocked out. And you see some lady in the shadows doing all that. And then some guy shows up to Jack's place to kill him too, some assassin. Jack fights back. He knows some martial arts. They talk about that throughout the book. Like, oh, you just wanted to take some martial arts classes and do your own fun thing. he manages to run upstairs and goes looking for the cosmic rod up there. He gets followed by this assassin guy who sees the belt and takes it, and then he burns the place down, assuming Jack has died in there. But Jack does find the rod, and he gets out of there. And then we cut over to these two assassins. They are brother and sister, and they are the kids of the Mist, some old man arch nemesis of Starman, who is saying like, "And the dad's still alive? Good. I want him to experience losing everything." That's our first issue. We kind of cut past a lot of the fluff of it here because it is a pretty fluffy, like flavorful comic in terms of just kind of filling in all those details about what kind of guy Jack is. But it does a nice job of setting the scene, setting some stakes
Yeah.
up.
It's not very. I mean, there's a lot of explosions and stuff, but like Jack doesn't fight anybody other than like a few little karate moves, and then he escapes like in a one-page spread with the cosmic rod. So if you're expecting to see some like Starman action this issue, it's not really happening yet. But it is like setting the ground for it.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, like I've read this a couple times, but not in the last 15 years. And I don't think you need to know that like the Mist and Ted Knight were real characters 50 years ago or 50 years
Right.
prior. Like it seems to be like, yeah, this is just like modern day, and it's kind of like there's a family legacy of heroes, but it's not like that important. Like that, the true past. It's just like it just kind of alludes to
Mm-hmm.
like a rich world, and the fact that it's not like Batman or Superman, I think makes it smart in that way.
Yeah.
Like it's just like it's a hero you don't really care about, and he protects a city you've never really heard of. It works for a
Right.
1995 audience, I think, pretty well, and me when I read
Let-
it like in '05.
Because
Yeah.
like we're reading Thunderbolts alongside of this with Kurt Busiek's writing style, which is very different. Because he's like, "Hey, look at all this history," and he'll go into detail about it, and you'll get narrator or editor's notes about when this stuff happened, blah blah blah. Whereas this, it's like if you told me that these were all completely original characters that never existed before, it would work for this comic, you
Yeah.
know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't
Um,
know if there's big Mist fans that are like, this is completely inaccurate. I don't know if that's the case or not.
I think
The Mist would never do that.
I
Ragdoll
think
would
it's
never
a
do
shame. It's a shame that none of the kids are named Riven.
this. The sequel to Mist.
Yeah.
Exile and Uru, his other kids. Yeah.
And you say a joke that you have to be over 30 to even know what the
No,
hell
it's
you're
not
talking
true.
about.
That's not true. We have plenty of listeners who are 10 years old.
There
Who
was a-
love
there-
Riven.
There was a Wrist remaster that came out last year.
Yeah,
Alright.
everyone knows it. It's
Yeah.
current, man. It's
Yeah.
current.
They made it a VR game also. It's a big deal.
All right, so on to issue number 2. Or no, issue number 1, which is part 2.
Part two.
Yeah. And the news is saying that criminals are running rampant now that Starman is dead. Jack goes to visit his dad in the hospital, and he's like, "Hey, they came after me. They got the belt." And his dad kind of tells him off. He's like, "Hey, you're here, and you like say you want to help, but you never wanted to help before. You're a coward. You're why David's dead. That kind of stuff." So he's kind of like sulking a little bit. He meets a cop who is over there, kind of watching over his dad, Hope O'Dare, who's there with her 3 brothers, who are all also cops, the O'Dare cops, and they're all redheads.
Hell yeah. Hell
and,
yeah.
and their dad was a cop as well. They're a whole family of cops. And OG Starman, Ted Knight, saved their dad's life when dad was a cop. So they kind of have this sense of duty to like protect him. And I will say we get a lot of side characters introduced in these 6 issues, I feel. And like they all get semi fleshed out in their issues, and then we don't see them again in the first 6. So I assume they might come back eventually, but in these first 6, it all felt a little disjointed with a lot of the side characters, even though they did kind of, they fit into the story pretty well. So they're talking about that. Dad gets a call from the Mist in his hospital room. The city's burning outside, and he wants Starman to lose everything. And he says, "The next thing I'm going to take from you is your dead wife's memory." And so, Ted Knight's thinking, okay, Mist clearly thinks that Jack is dead. So Dad tells Jack, you should flee the city. You don't want to be a hero. They're going to come looking for you if they know you're not alive. So, just go get safe. Mom was cremated anyways. There's no bones to steal. So, taking dead wife's memory, I don't know what he's talking about. It'll be fine. So Jack heads to the bus station. He's just going to get out of town. But as he's doing that, he hears on the news that there are people attacking the museum, specifically the Adele Nightwing that was named after his mom. Oh my gosh, that's how they're going to ruin her memory. So he pulls out the rod. He flies over there. He starts fighting some goons on the roof. And the Mist's son shows up again. What's his name? Kyle? Kyle shows up and fights him off. Jack gets knocked into the water, loses the rod, and the bad guys kind of lose track of him, but they're like, well, he's probably dead down there again. And there's still some thugs hanging out in the museum, and someone called the Shade shows up and stops them. He's got like the power to make scary shadows, it seems. And he finds something interesting. He goes,
He's
I wish
definitely
Jack
a dude
was alive
in
to see
shadows.
it. He's a shadow dude.
Yeah. And he will provide mystery throughout the rest of the book of like, who is this guy? How does he know it? He's like your John Constantine type. Like he clearly knows more about this world than everybody else.
Yeah.
John Constantine and Swamp Thing is more accurate reference than that. Like why does
Yeah. And but Jack is not dead. Again, he has not died in the water. He didn't die in the fire, didn't die in the water. Crawls out of that dirty river, and he's going to head back instead of running away. Feels like less stuff happened in that issue, even though my notes took the same amount of time. Okay.
Yeah, they introduced like a ton of characters because you get the O'Dare family, who I always think of as like the O'Doyle family from like Billy Madison, like O'Doyle rules, and you just see them throughout the whole time Billy Madison's in school. But the O'Dares, I always thought, and I guess this isn't true, but in my head, they also appear like in Jonah Hex comics. That's not true. But I feel like they should appear in like every era of like classic DC. You should just always have an O'Dare cop in the background. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
They fight in cowboy times. Of course they do.
So on to issue number 2, which is part 3. Jack goes home and makes himself a makeshift costume. It's a cool costume with a leather jacket and stuff. And he finds a sheriff's badge, and he's like, I'll put that on. And he's got it's like an astrology symbol or something on there. And he's like, well, it's not astronomy like my dad, but it gets the job done. It's fine.
That's like, if I didn't like this book, I would say that was bullshit. Like, I would be like, this is like, but instead I'm like, yeah, it's cool. It's like coming at Starman, but from like a different angle. Like the stars. I love it. This is cool. Instead of like, this is really dumb. Why did you get rid of the space concept to go for astrology? Yeah, he's got a sheriff star too.
And he finds some 90s steampunk goggles, and he justifies them by being like, hey, that rod is pretty bright. So that would make sense to like help with the shine. Okay, cool.
It is it definitely looks like designs of superheroes I would make in the mid 90s. With like cool goggles and shit. But it's not like it's definitely not like a Wildstorm design at all. It's more like Jack is wearing like a bowling shirt through the first 2 issues. Like that's the kind of vibe that he looks like.
Yeah. And I will say I like the design with Tony Harris's art. I hate it on the covers. Did Tony Harris also do the covers? No.
That's a great
It's like
point.
that weird
Who did do the
covers? I
think
gotta
he
see who
did.
did the.
I think he did paint them.
It's just like a very different art style that he's doing there,
Painted,
which they remind me of the Transmetropolitan covers. Did he do those? I don't know.
No,
Probably not.
No, I don't think he did. But yeah, I'm with you there. And like me and Chris were texting offline. That like I think the second that Tony Harris leaves this book, I lasted like 2 issues after Harris left in the mid 40s, and I'm like, I'm done. We're done.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that how much of like an impact he had on my enjoyment of this book.
Yeah, he's really good. So he's got his costume put together there. Even though he's doing it, and throughout the whole thing, he keeps saying to himself, "I'm not Starman. Just kind of doing this for now." But someone is watching him from the street. Meanwhile, the Shade and the Mist are having a little villain meeting. The Mist called Shade, and he was like, "Hey, I'm not sure if you're still a bad guy, but you want to come help me out with something?" And they talk about old times and such. It's kind of cute. We learn that Shade doesn't age. He's still a pretty young-looking man. Dresses old, though. Nobody dresses like that.
Got like a very Victorian Gotham by Gaslight look.
Yeah.
Is this where we start getting hints that the Mist might be having some brain issues?
Oh yeah, that did kind of come up a little bit. I didn't really note that here because it was just like, oh yeah, I'm kind of misremembering. Like, oh yeah, that person's dead or
Because yeah,
whatever the case.
he's like, I killed Wildcat, and this is like, or the Shade is like, no, you didn't. The Wildcat's still around. He's like, oh yeah, that's right.
Um, so Jack ends up doing a little bit of fighting on the roof as these people who've been watching him are attacking. The Mist's daughter, what's her name? Nash. She's there. She's got him dead to rights at one point, and Jack talks his way out of it, saying, "Why are you doing this?" And she starts talking about her dad, and he goes, "No. Why are you doing this?" And she's like, "Okay, get out of here before I change my mind." She also talks with a stutter. Interesting. Jack isn't really sure where to go after this. He's kind of stumbling around, and he heads into that fortune teller's shop. We get a little bit of her history. She came from down south, setting up shop up there since business kind of dried up. And we get a bit of an overture, I guess, from her about future adventures, possibly that Starman's going to be going on. Neat little moment. Again, great art here throughout it. But she doesn't really show up again throughout these other issues. Um, Jack, where is Opal City, by the way? What state is it in?
Oh, that's a good question.
I
I,
don't know.
I don't know, but I do have trivia about her.
Oh yeah.
Much like Neil Gaiman, just mining, DC comics that we never heard of, like Jack Kirby's Sandman. This is mining Forbidden Tales of the Dark Mansion, one of the DC horror comics that had a fortune teller host.
Oh,
So that's where he's getting this character. I mean, she's only in like 7 issues of that book ever, so she's mostly known for Starman. But he is borrowing a character that had disappeared more than a decade earlier.
Okay.
interesting. It feels like a Vertigo book. That it's not a Vertigo book. It's in the proper DC.
Yeah, it does
DC
have that
Comics.
Vertigo feel.
I mean,
It is.
Go ahead, Chris.
It is funny that like Hitman is coming out around the same
Uh-huh.
time, and then like with Garth Ennis writing it, it's just like, yeah, this is like the most, all those, that book and this book are like combined the most 1994 like cool,
Yeah.
like the idea of what we thought was cool, and looking back it's a little embarrassing, but you're like, yeah, but this is what we all assumed was cool.
No, yeah, I definitely got Hitman DC Comics vibes, which is Garth Ennis, as you said. Because Jack looks a lot like him. He's got like messy black hair when he wears his black sunglasses, and the art style coloring especially look very very similar, in my head to Hitman.
Yep. It was the
I
90s. Everyone had to look like that.
I am getting so many conflicting bits of info about where Opal City is, but I think it's either Maryland or Oregon or Illinois, and I think it's Maryland. But there is an
Google
Opal
AI
City.
just told me Maryland also.
But there is an Opal City in Illinois, and there's an Opal City in Oregon as well. But those aren't this one. I think we're in Maryland.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is clearly not. I mean, this is like a.
It's a
This feel,
city, yeah.
this feels like a almost like a Providence type like city, like it's an older city. As we get to in the worst issue we're gonna cover. um, but yeah, it's I think it's supposed to be more of like a classic, like either Massachusetts or someplace in New England. So Maryland would also work for that.
Oh, the DC fandom page has a picture of the Darwin Cook Catwoman sitting on a Starman statue in Opal City. That's a cool image.
That is cool.
Cool. All right, so what's going on now? They've Jack's left that place, left the fortune teller. He goes to his
I will
dad.
say, so
Oh,
this is the end of issue 2, right? That we're almost to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I was really on board with this book through here, and I will say it's about the end of this issue that this book to me makes a nosedive in quality. Where I was just like, by the end, I was like, no, I'm not reading any more of this. But
really?
the first 3 issues I really liked.
All
And
right.
then issue 3, I was like, and then everything past that, I was like, this is worse and worse.
Okay, I'm curious to hear why. We'll get to it. So Jack goes to his dad, and he's like, "Dad, I'm not dead." And they're like, "Yeah, they were saying you might be dead, but I could feel it. You weren't." And Jack keeps saying he's not Starman. He's not up to this. He's just going to do it temporarily until they're safe. And he needs another cosmic rod because he lost that one. His dad's like, well, that's not something a not Starman would say, but there's no more cosmic rods. David's was broken and yours was lost. But wait a minute. We do have an old prototype from the 40s in storage. It's like a little bit bigger because it's like the first one, but it works. And it's like, all right, I'll go find that one. Um, Meanwhile, Mist and Shade are still talking. They come to some agreement to kill everyone allied with the Knights. And Shade is gonna do some work for the Mist. Okay. Jack goes and finds the old rod. It's bigger. It's more like a staff, and he kind of likes it more than the rod. I do too. I don't know if they kind of purposely drew it a little bit weird in his hand as being like kind of a lame rod, but a big old staff, it works for him.
I like the staff too.
Yeah.
Yeah. The two-handed weapon's better.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks cooler with his jacket when he like places it on the ground, and you can have like wind blowing like his leather jacket behind him. It looks cooler, especially with the goggles. It's a better design. Yeah. But I don't know if they always meant to get there, or they realized like 2 issues in, like, I do not like drawing this stupid little rod. How can I make it cooler? And that's how they got to this.
Mm-hmm. Now his dad's lying in the hospital room. He's thinking about Jack, thinking about how, hey, when he was born, he could see in his eyes that he was a hero. He was supposed to be Starman in the first place. That's why he was so mad at him about David's death, that David was never supposed to be Starman in the first place. And then the Shade shows up, and he hurts the police, but he doesn't kill them, and he kidnaps Ted Knight. And he tells the cops, hey, tell Jack what I did, but also tell Jack what I didn't do. I didn't kill y'all. Didn't kill y'all. All right. And then Jack gets a call from the Mist and saying they have his dad and they have some demands or something. And he's like, all right, what do you want? Okay, Chris, what was it at the end of this? Was it something at the end of this that made you go, or was it not? Okay.
It's the next issue. It's issue 3 is where I start being like, because I was on board for all of this. I thought this was all awesome. It's just moving on from this.
All right, let's move on. Starman number 3, part 4. Jack is preparing to go off to battle. The Mist's son, Kyle, is going to duel him 1-on-1 to the death. And he's like, okay, sure. And the cops, the O'Hares, they're all saying, oh, that's very heroic. And he's like, I don't like that. I never wanted to be a hero. And he's like remembering all the times when he was a kid, David was saying he wanted to be a hero. But then he's remembering, like, wait a minute. I did want to be a hero. David's the one who didn't. He's kind of like been misremembering the past. Like he wanted to be a hero growing up, but he kind of like grew out of it or something. Huh? Which I'm guessing maybe that's what you're not into, Chris.
No,
I could see.
No.
Oh, okay.
I thought that was fine.
I thought it was a little. I thought it was a little weird. Of like, I don't know. You kind of have this good character motivation of guy who doesn't want to be a hero, who's forced into it, and kind of gradually gets into it. I feel like you didn't need that. It just kind of confused things a little bit for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's the idea. I think is a little too cute because it's that he used to love superheroes, but he's grown out of them because he's a cool adult.
Yeah. So then we have the Mist's kids, Kyle and Nash. They're talking. And Nash is like, I gotta tell somebody. He tells her brother that she let Jack go, didn't kill him. Kyle isn't worried. He's like, hey, he's a nobody. He's not even a hero. I'll be able to kill him, no problem. Nash really seems to love her brother. He's the only one that she can talk to without stuttering. And so, yeah, that they're villains with care for each other, I guess. So they go up in the sky and they fight. Kyle has the cosmic belt. Jack has his new cosmic staff. Big old sky fight. Jack is remembering his brother a lot throughout this. A lot of like just little bits of bullying, constant bullying. His brother really was an asshole. And he's constantly just thinking like, oh my God, did I actually like my brother? There's like a shot to him pouring like dirt or sand in Jack's mouth. Come on, man. Meanwhile, the Shade shows up to the cops, and they're like, whoa. And he's like, I'm not there to hurt y'all. Remember, I didn't kill y'all before. I want peace. I only, wanted to get in good with the Mist to learn about his plans, and now I'm going to take y'all back to his hideout so you can get him. And there's lots of back and forth as the cops are going to the cemetery where the Mist is hiding out. He's hiding in the Knight family mausoleum there. Some sort of back and forth scenes of that while we see the Sky fight and David bullying Jack as a kid. Jack has a big moment of, I may not have liked my brother, but I loved him. And he rams that staff through Kyle and kills the Mist's son. Afterwards, Jack meets the cops, and the Shade is gone, but he left Jack a note. We'll meet, we'll talk. I have two gifts. Mist's daughter, Nash, is losing her mind over Jack killing her brother. Is pissed at him, like, I let you live and you kill my brother. You're Starman now? Wait and see what I become. She's not stuttering anymore because that was a different person. Jack and his dad are talking afterwards, and Jack is like, okay, I'll agree to stay being Starman as long as you use all of your crazy cosmic science for better inventions instead of weapons, like try to help humanity, please. And I'm not going to go on patrol or anything, but I'll be around if I see any sort of wrong being committed. And they're like, okay. And so he's the one and only Starman. Except for our epilogue, we see two more Starman, a blue alien-looking dude. That's the captions say he used to be Starman, and we see another dude who's captured in some sciencey machines, and the captions say he used to be Starman too. And so those are the first four issues. We'll talk about the last two in a second, but okay. Well, I guess we'll start with Chris. Chris, what were your problems with that issue?
So my problems with that issue is that, like I said, they sort of foreshadowed when the Mist and the Shade were talking that he kind of had Alzheimer's, but it's like the whole thing is just over. Like he kills the son, and that's like the end of the whole thing. The cops are there, and he's just like, "Oh, I'm tired. I'm gonna lay down," and that's like the end of the whole arc. And you're like, that's to me, that's killing a lot of story for really no reason. Like way sooner than they should have.
That's
Like
fair.
even if he's just is like gets away or something, like that's you're setting up this story engine pretty clumsily, I think, and then also like getting rid of what should be a major character, all to set up the Shade, who I don't like, as like not a villain, but like this cool guy who we're so curious about. And then I mean the part where he just like gives the speech to his dad, and his dad's like, "Okay, that sounds good, son." Like that was really just embarrassing. Like that's to me James Robinson writing Neil Gaiman ass dialogue, where I was like, this is not good. I don't like it at all.
Well, how would you like it if then he followed Neil Gaiman following Alan Moore with like multiple epilogues?
Yes.
Does that sound like a
And epilogues that are cashing in, like that you have to have like a very deep knowledge of obscure DC crap to know, like, it's that Starman, it's that Starman.
Well, so to me though, this I'm coming from like the Ed Brubaker Captain America angle with these epilogues, and I like seeing these things of like here's some other Captain Americas that were there in the past, like Jack Monroe, like that's what this is echoing to me, even though this is like a decade earlier.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, who the fuck is this blue one? Who's Will Payton? I think Will Payton was the star of the Starman volume from the 80s. I think he was.
Yes. Yes.
So
And I don't hate that as an idea. I think it's kind of clever. I just think that they wrap the whole book up so fast, and then you're to this epilogue, and then there's no payoff to that in the next two issues.
Right.
It's kind of a bummer.
And I think, I think I disagree with you, Chris, where it didn't bother me as much, like in the epilogues and none of that. Like, it didn't really bother me. But the fact that they didn't follow up on any of it in the next two issues, and that they're so disconnected from everything else, that did bother me.
Yeah, right. That's really more what I mean. Because like this just feels rushed. But then the next issue, you're like, well, why did we rush to this?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, let's I don't know, Vince, you have anything else to say about the first four? I guess we should talk about the next two eventually, but I feel like these four are like the ones to talk about, you know what I mean?
I really liked it. I didn't actually I did not like this that much when I first read it like in '05. I was like, this is okay. I actually think that it gets stronger past like the Circus Freaks arc, which we're not going to cover here. Like that's when it starts like really coming together in the same way that, as I said, like the Captain America Brubaker, like I'm going to bring in all the strands of Starman past into this book. Like that's where it got more interesting to me. But this time I read it, like I really liked it. I don't like when things just kind of end like in a quick death. I actually thought the idea that like they created his sister as like a future villain. There's the Mist daughter. I think is a good like beginning story engine, but you didn't need to get rid of the Mist to do that.
Yeah, I agree.
And so as your point, like that makes sense to me. But I mean, I think it's all in place for it to like be a lot like a lot of books that I like. Like the dad is going to end up being kind of like the dad of Batwoman. That was like her military kind of guy in the chair. Like it's all like proto versions of things I like from books about 10, 15 years later. Is kind of here, but not as good, not as much as I like. But I liked the first arc more this time than I did 15, 20 years ago. So
right. And again, I like this first arc. I just wish there was a little, and it's weird for me to argue that a book should be decompressed, but I wish it was at least one more issue probably, because you set up this, like, he literally killed your brother and they don't even fight. Like, it's just, I guess technically they're saying that the son killed his brother. But like it's because the Mist ordered him to, and you don't even fight the dad. I thought that was very disappointing. And then, I said, it's when it turns into the next 3 issues, I was like, I don't understand why we had to not have a long running story arc to have individual issues that I think are increasingly bad one after another.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about issue number 4 real quick. I didn't even take any notes on it here. There's a thing about
this one.
Some guy.
This feels like an Alan Moore book or a Sandman book.
Yeah, like
yes,
it's a very separate
this is very
story.
much the same.
Like a guy showed up in like some island, like was it Hawaii somewhere, something like that, where this guy was like an incredible painter, and he was like, I had the vision for a wonderful like Hawaiian print shirt, and like that's what this guy loved painting, and he ended up painting a portal to somewhere away from here on the back of a shirt, and then he disappeared, and everyone missed his art. And that shirt is like some dude in the shadow wants that shirt and hires somebody to go get it, and Jack Knight has it mixed in with all of his memorabilia stuff. And the guy shows up to Jack's place. He was like, I want that shirt. And he's like, all right, go look for it. I'll sell it to you. What do you want? Like $20? He was like, okay. That's it. All right, cool. I guess the Shade shows up in the middle
story.
of this. Yeah. Shade shows up and talks to Jack a little bit about everything.
He gives him a diary. It's like I demand you have one flashback issue a year.
Yeah.
Well, it's good. This is called like A Day in the Opal, which this is kind of stuff that like I felt like I like this book, but every now and then James Robinson gets a little up his own butt about things. And it felt like when Harris left, like the book got more that way for the few issues I read, or at least the few issues I read like in the late 40s, and I'm like, I'm done. Like I don't want any more of this. But like a lot of comic books do this, and like Swamp Thing does this, but does it way more elegantly. And then Sandman will too, where it just takes like detour issues. But it, I mean, I like the concept of it. Like I'm gonna show you more because the city is a character in this book. But,
yeah, and it's the idea which the first 4 issues did already set up, but the idea is that he's not gonna like put on a superhero costume and like fight criminals. He's just like, yeah, whatever. I don't care about this.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's a real problem, I guess I'll deal with it. But in the meantime, I'll just sell you a shirt. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I did think it was very lame that the Shade found in the museum that he thought was very interesting, and too bad Jack's not alive to see this, and he like gives it to Jack now. It's just the plaque honoring his mom's wing of the museum. Okay. that's not that interesting. Whatever.
Yeah. This book wants me to care more about the Shade than I do. I'll say that.
Yeah.
The Shade becomes. He gets his own miniseries. James Robinson writes a lot about the Shade.
I don't care about him. He's not interesting to me at all.
And then issue number 5. I think this is the worst issue that we read.
We covered issue 6 right? Did you read that one?
Did we cover issue 6?
No, we only went through 0 through 5. We only went through 0 through 5. But we can talk about issue 6 if you want to.
You said issue 6 on the website.
Shit.
I'm sorry.
I read it. I read issue 12. I was reading more of it tonight before we started recording.
Like Tony Harrison didn't do the art.
Yeah, let's go to Tony Harris didn't do the art.
Okay.
It's also the worst issue. So let's talk about the worst issue you read, Kia, and then we'll talk about the worst issue you didn't read after that.
All right, so issue number 5 is a mostly black and white issue where Jack just kind of like to start the comic is just in a cemetery, and he's like, what's going on here? And he meets his brother David, who is in color. And his brother is just being a shithead. And then they fight. And he's like, cool, let's do this again, maybe a year from now. And I don't know. It's just kind of like, hey, they're starting to get past their issues. I think I kind of can appreciate what this book is going for, but it is not enjoyable to read at all. And that's all the book is. It is all just this black and white thing. And then the brother flies off and is like, oh, yeah, it'd be nice to see you again. And that's it.
Talking with David 95, like that's a threat. There's going to be talking with David 96. I actually liked this at the time, and he does talk with David every issue, and it's like a different location.
Every year?
Yeah, every year. I liked this though. I thought this was a good interlude. I wouldn't have done it immediately after the Day in the Opal issue. I think that's a misfire.
Now the book just has no momentum. You're just like, what do we do week to week here?
Right. I mean, we had that with like Thunderbolts. We're like, okay, I'm kind of like losing the thread when we're going, month by month here, because like I thought this was pretty cool, and now like I don't know what this book is going to end up being, and it's just kind of meandering. I like this though as like a single issue. Like I thought it was pretty interesting. I think his relationship with David. And even like the flashbacks with his brother, like I'm not sure exactly what they're going for. I'm not sure if they want to like make the relationship more complicated. That like he dislikes David, but he likes David. It's as opposed to like my brother, I loved him. He was an angel. He should be taken down before his time. It's not like that kind of thing. But it's an interesting relationship. Although like you shouldn't waste the whole issue on this. Like that seems like.
Yeah, I like the idea, but spending an entire issue just talking to his ghost brother was a little bit too much.
Right. And then
especially like I'm not saying you have to be like Chris Claremont and have like 5 guys in the shadows, but like could we have something setting up what's coming like as the next storyline?
And also that seems like a place that you would do like that would be your catch-up issue for Harris, is to do this like past issue with where Tony Harris is catching up, and not next issue that me and Chris read.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't read this one. I'm flipping through it. The art actually doesn't look terrible. It kind of reminds me of like Jim Mahfood mixed with Bill Sinkovich a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
I like the art. It's just this story it's like a parody of a bad Sandman issue. Literally, the idea is, so it's Starman is reading the diary that the Shade gave him, and the Shade is in Opal City with Oscar Wilde being like, oh, I heard Charles Dickens based a character on you. And he's like, that's right. And he's like, well, I met someone even more immortal, and I'm thinking about writing a book about that person who never ages. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. I was so annoyed. Like, this is everything I hate about Neil Gaiman, of just like, oh, yeah, I also read this Wikipedia synopsis of this famous person's work. And it was inspired because they met Vandal Savage or whatever, and you're like, what? It's the most annoying thing. So then a child goes and asks for the Shade's help. Oscar Wilde, of course, because he's a gay, is implied to be pedophile as well, is like, don't go too far, to this child whose family has been kidnapped by this like brainwashing guy in the circus. And then the Shade kills them with his superpowers. And that's basically it. That's the whole issue.
Great.
I'm not going to lie. I'm not sure if I actually read that. I don't recognize it. I don't know if I just immediately went to the circus issue and I just skipped it somehow. Probably because I thought like I read 6 issues. I should be on issue 7.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's that damn number 0 confusing everything. Yeah. That's why we got to outlaw zeros.
Yeah. So it's just it's such a fill-in issue after what was basically a fill-in issue. And I was just like, so you guys just don't have any idea what this book is, do you? It's just like, it's just going to be a Sandman style thing where we're just, writing for people who are slightly dumber than the average Sandman reader. I really, and again, it's not the fault of where it's my own fault for reading one issue too many, I guess. Although it's Vince's fault for including it on the website.
Sorry, I apologize.
Damn
All my
it,
friends are
Vince.
right here.com. Go check it out.
But I was like, the first 4 issues, I was really enjoying it, and the last 3, I was like, every issue is worse than the last one. What's going on?
Yep. I liked the second arc. Like the circus freak stuff is cool, and then the ragdoll, because Jack wears like a ragdoll face on his shirt, which is like a Che Guevara kind of thing, and his dad's like, that's fucking disrespectful. You should not be wearing the ragdoll face on your shirt. And then so we get the true story of like who the ragdoll villain was and like why he like fucked up Opal City and all these things. And like we get that later, like in issue like 10 and 11. And that's
this is bringing back the other Starman that we saw in issue 4, right?
The blue skin one.
Yeah,
that's in the Circus Freaks issue, and then he's gonna become like more of like a side character through like the teens and 20s. But the book, you're right. It doesn't like know it can be whatever it wants, because like the ragdoll thing is like the Shade narrating an adventure that happened in the 1940s, which is very much like how the Brubaker's Captain America was. Like, we're just going to derail this book right now. We're going to have a 1940s adventure, or we're going to follow this other character. But like so many in a row is like definitely a problem. The pacing is very wrong there. But yeah, I like this book a lot. If we're getting to final thoughts, aside from this kind of like, as we just like kind of skip through like all this like back half stuff, I'm like, I can totally agree with that. But yeah, I kept reading. I'm on issue 12 now, so I'm quite enjoying this.
Yeah, I'll give my final thoughts real quick. I liked it. It was fine. I liked it back then. I like it now. I don't know if I would keep reading to keep seeing more if I had the time. I don't know. I'd be interested because it does have a nice hook to it, and it's like, okay, I kind of want to see how this guy goes, but that's about it. Chris, I feel like we've heard your final thoughts, but it's your official final thoughts time.
Yeah, and like I said, the first 3 or 4 issues, I was like, why didn't I like this first trade? This is good. And then I read the second half of it, and I was like, oh yeah, it's that it all wrapped up after the 4th issue 3, which is really issue 4, and then the next couple of issues are bad. Like it immediately, it's to me, it's the same thing, and it's really a story problem. Like it's a similar thing to like the characters who are like, we're going to be proactive and we're going to stop these crimes before they happen. Where it's just like narratively, what does that mean? Like you're just doing pre-crime, like that makes you the bad guy.
It's a montage of you like fixing the world through like shaking hands and being like, look, we created nuclear power or some shit like that.
Right. Yeah. It's just like, that's not how superhero comics works. Starman is kind of the other side of the 90s spectrum of like, what does he do exactly? Like, what's his, like, month to month, like what are his adventures? He's like, I'm not going to be a superhero. That's lame. And you're just like, so okay, like what's your alternative? Like what cool shit are you doing? Because mostly he doesn't do anything.
Yep.
This book like very much also had to me, because I saw it won like best new series or something for the Eisner for like its first year, and this is like really solidifies to me like the comics are all about like vibes and like future potential. So you're reading this like, well, this book could be anything. Like, what's it gonna be? But like, if I look at it like in retrospect, I'm like, nothing really happened that much. And this isn't like, like I wouldn't say like this is the greatest book ever, but it's a potential of like I want to spend more time with Jack Knight, and therefore I like the art, but I don't but the actual like adventures. If I like wrote them down, I'm like, there's not that satisfying. I think I had the same realization with like Young Avengers, which is a book I loved. But when we reread it, I was like, nothing really happened here. It's all like potential. Like
and similarly, just great art and like the idea of some good stories, and then it doesn't really go anywhere. At least Starman, they put out 80 issues of it.
Yep. And then
Young Avengers, they put out like 12, and then they had that stupid Children's Crusade.
Yep. Where they fought Dr. Doom.
Yep.
One at a time.
All right, let's get on to Thunderbolts number 21. At the end of the last issue, Hawkeye showed up. And it seems he might want to lead the team. The cover has Songbird going berserk apparently, and it's got Hawkeye in the little, the face in the corner, and it says, "Hey, look, it's Hawkeye."
I bet that was blacked out in the solicitations.
It had to have been. Can't have a spoiler in there.
This did win the 1998 Wizard Fan Award winner for favorite writer, Kurt Busiek, and Comics Greatest Moment 1997.
Mm-hmm.
How about
Gotta
that?
feature that on the cover. Honestly, I can't remember a better moment from 1997 other than I assume that was the reveal that they were villains, right?
Yep.
I can't imagine it was anything
Yeah,
else.
the Masters of Evil. That's, I guess, issue number 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, all potential. And it says www.marvel.com, which that's got to be pretty early for the Marvel website. So.
Oh, yeah. When did websites start existing? When did we move past AOL pages for Marvel?
AOL keywords and Prodigy sites?
Yeah, I remember visiting Marvel's website in middle school. They made it look like New York City. It had like frames. So it was just like, oh, you just hover over and they're like, oh, comics, media, whatever. And they're different buildings.
Oh, this would have been prior to the bankruptcy. Interesting. Or right around there.
Probably right around there, yeah.
I do miss the early internet. What a time. All right. So Thunderbolts number 21. The Thunderbolts are all fighting Hawkeye. Whoa, what happened? I thought they were going to be friends. They're all trying to get him, but he's too good. And he gets them instead. Whoa. And it was, I guess, a deal that they had where if he can survive for 5 minutes, then they'll hear him out. All right.
What a dumb pretext for a fight against everybody against Hawkeye, but I don't hate it. I kind of love it.
Yeah, I don't hate it either. It is kind of silly.
I love how mad like half of the Thunderbolts are at the end of it. Like, I'm going to kill him.
Yeah. They're like, oh, he's too good.
What I also love about when we go from like comics like Starman or like even like some of our past books that we've been reading into these Thunderbolts comics is how many characters are in a panel together with backgrounds.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, this is a very like densely packed panels of things that I don't remember what we read a few episodes ago, and I was like, this is a much different 90s comic, and this is definitely one.
I mean, like Mark Bagley, like if you like look at his, and especially he has a problem of like drawing different women, like they all kind of look the same, but it's just like he's almost never late, and his stuff you're like, this is good.
He's about to start Ultimate Spider-Man. And
yeah, well, and he hasn't missed an issue yet, has he? Or maybe he missed one.
I think he did like half of one, yeah.
Yeah, and we've gone 20-some issues. It's just like, this guy is just, he's a machine.
He was doing 18 issues of Ultimate Spider-Man a year at one point. And he did the weekly Trinity comic for DC. It was only like 14 pages a week, but only 14 pages a week. It was insane. Admittedly, he has like some tics that aren't present in this book yet, aside from the fact that like all of his girls look like Mary Jane.
Yeah. This is before his like digital art kind of cheating kind of starts in Ultimate Spider-Man.
But yeah, I'm like, wow, this is the Bagley art I like, and even better. This is how I'm feeling with this book.
Yeah, like if I'm being honest, sometimes his faces look a little bit wonky. I'm like, you drew that a little fast and you didn't go back to it. But for the most part, I do like Bagley's art. It's good. It does the job and it works well.
Yeah. This picture of Hawkeye, I'm the 7th or 8th page here where he's saying, so I announced myself. His face just does look really messed up. Like it does occasionally happen where it's just like panel to panel. His faces are weird. But yes, overall
good. Yeah.
I love the energy and just like what Vince is saying, like he has so much stuff going on. It's great.
So Hawkeye is kind of filling them in on his side of things and what he's seen of them. A lot of history in this book, kind of recapping some stuff. And Hawkeye says he talked to the Commission on Superhuman Activities and said, hey, I want to like get in there with the team, see if they're really on the up and up. And he tells the team like, hey, we're going to like try to get you a fair shot at getting pardoned for everything that happened if you really are good guys now. But if you turn bad again, I'll take you down myself. And the whole team is excited about this. But Songbird is like, I can't believe this. You can't be listening to this. He's like, he's tricking us. And she like flies out of there and she's angry as hell. Mach 1 wants to go after her, and Hawkeye's like, whoa, we just lost one member of the team. I'm not letting like two fugitives go loose. And Hawkeye's like, hey, I'm gonna come back, and if we're gonna trust you, you gotta trust us, man. No, you're all right. So Mach 1 goes flying after Songbird to find her. Meanwhile, that new reporter, Gail Rogers, who's been assigned to cover the Thunderbolts, has showed up at the Arizona hotel room of Dallas Reardon, who was the mayoral liaison to the Thunderbolts. And her career has basically been ruined. And she's telling the reporters that showed up at her door with cameras in her face she doesn't want any of this. She's there to visit her retired father. She's leaving soon. She's not going to talk to them.
What is this picture of Riordan from behind where she just looks like she's hasn't eaten since Atlas broke up with her?
It's a weird image, yeah.
She's been busy, although we don't know that yet.
We don't know.
I read ahead.
You read ahead?
It's true.
You didn't read far enough ahead, though, Vince. You didn't read far enough ahead.
She hasn't been eating, I'll tell you that.
Meanwhile, Songbird is now causing chaos in some small town, destroying cars and stuff, and the military are trying to get her. Why did you do this, Songbird? This is not good. Mach 1 shows up, kind of gets her to safety. Yeah, she's acting out. Mach 1 gets her to safety in some warehouse. Melissa puts up a sound shield, and Mach 1's suit is like too messed up. I do like that touch that they've really been continuing that of like Techno's the guy who fixed his suit, and it's just been downhill since Techno left, and his suit's getting worse and worse. And so Mach 1 can't really get them out of there. They're kind of stuck in this building with their shield up. So they take the time to talk. Abe just wants to help, and Melissa's like, God, after how terrible I've been to you, you do still want to help me. We get a lot of her history about how she, joined up with all these different groups of villains. I feel like we've seen a lot of this before, but it is just kind of more honed in a little bit on how she was feeling throughout all this, joining a wrestling team, hooking up with Angar the Screamer. He died. Everyone she's cared about has always like left her or died or something, and she's decided not to care anymore. And Abe gives her a big old hug and promises not to leave. And he radios back to the team, who fly out to help. Basically, the whole rest of the team creates a distraction while Hawkeye flies them out of there. Then back at the cabin, the Thunderbolts accept Hawkeye's offer. And Jolt's like, it's official, right? We're going to be pardoned? And we get a flashback to his meeting with the Superhuman Commission, whatever.
Yeah. Henry Gyrich, famously uncool dude.
Famously uncool. And the commission is like, Hawkeye, you're crazy. We will not sanction this. If you go anywhere near the Thunderbolts, then we will also name you an accessory to their crimes after the fact. And Hawkeye, flashback to the present, Hawkeye's telling the Thunderbolts, yeah, it's official. No problem. But he does have one more condition before he leads the team. Like, they've all done some terrible things. It's all stuff that they can get past. But the one thing you can't get past is murder. That's the worst. So I'll only lead the team if the only known murderer among them goes to jail. And that's Mach 1. What? Mach 1 killed someone?
Didn't he kill one of those aliens in those issues I don't talk about?
No, that was Meteorites. Moonstone did that.
But did they tell her that? Oh, no, he did.
No, I don't think.
He murdered somebody in the past. Did they describe that right now?
Yeah, I don't think that's. I don't think I think it's like a past, like a Kurt Busiek history tidbit that Mach 1 did kill somebody, and they're going to bring that up. I don't think anyone knows about the alien stuff.
Okay.
No, yeah. Hawkeye's not talking about that. Yeah. Obviously, I mean, Moonstone has killed at least a couple of people. She just he doesn't know about it.
Right. The only known murderer among them, which is Mach 1, who seems to be the nicest of the dudes on this team.
Well, except Jolt.
Of the dudes.
That's true.
No, we famously learned from Kel Mitchell that he's a dude, she's a dude, we're all dudes. Hey.
That's true. Jolt is the best. I guess if Jolt's a dude, then she's the best dude.
I think she's a righteous dude.
So that's it for that. I guess next time we'll see what did this advertise? A bold new direction for the Thunderbolts in the next issue. And oh yeah, Hercules. All right.
Grudge match: Hercules versus Atlas.
Nice.
Is that what it says?
Yeah, it
Cool.
says on the cover.
So yeah, next time we're doing Thunderbolts number 22. I get anything else to say about this Thunderbolts before we talk about next time?
Enjoyable.
No? Yeah.
Back on track. I like the
Back on
Hawkeye
track.
fight at the beginning.
Yes.
Yep.
It's fun. I do like that we've been complaining a little bit about how long the Songbird arc has been going. And it's like, okay, it's finally over.
Yeah.
Now they're moving on to the next arc, which is going to be she loves Abe, but he's in jail.
Yep.
Oh.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So yeah, next time we're continuing that, and we are reading another Superman book from 2019 called Superman Smashes the Klan. It's by Jean Luen Yang, with art by Gurihiru, which is this Japanese illustration duo. They go by the name Gurihiru.
They did they did that Power Pack book I loved in the mid 2000s.
Okay.
I like their art a lot.
And this was a 3-issue series, or I guess mini kind of thing, based on a 1946 radio show about Superman beating up the Klan.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Supposedly drove down Klan membership.
Really?
In real life. Kids are like, oh, the Klan sounds bad. Huh. This woke Superman makes things, I don't want to be associated with this.
This is the secret is, recycling works by just targeting children and just letting the children nag their parents into recycling. This is the same thing with the Klan.
Yep.
Cut up those soda rings. Don't join the Klan, Mom. These are the two things.
Yep, that's what I learned from comics. So yeah, we're gonna be reading that. We're getting woke, and we're reading some Thunderbolts. What else we got to talk about? Plug time, Chris. What's the your stupid minds podcast, guys?
Your stupid.
What's your stupid podcast doing over there, Chris?
Well, we've had a couple of episodes since the last episode we've done over here. So we did for the 4th of July, we did Independence Day Resurgence, which is a lot of fun to talk about.
That was a great episode.
A movie that I make the joke that it fulfills every American's dream of it imagines a world where everyone in the world celebrates the 4th of July.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah.
It's not just an American holiday, because in that world, it's the day that we killed all the aliens. So 20 some years later, we're still celebrating it as a world holiday. And then most recently, we covered The Red Maple Leaf, an episode that was very fun to talk about, a Canadian vanity project that featured, this movie came out in 2016. 7 members of the cast are dead now.
Oh my God.
Not from any foul play, but because like Ray Romano's mother from Everybody Loves Raymond, James Caan.
I'm reading it. Just Chris Christopherson's the president. Martin Landau.
Yes,
Paul
Chris
Sorvino.
Christopherson. Martin Landau, Paul Sorvino, Mira Sorvino alive.
Robert Loggia.
Robert Loggia died before the movie came out. Margot Kidder, the original Lois Lane from the movies anyway, also has unfortunately passed away. So it's a very strange movie to watch because a lot of the cast has now passed away.
Did you do back-to-back Robert Loggia posthumous movies? Did you do that?
We did. We did his last 2 of his last 3 credits. He actually has 1 more posthumous credit.
What?
Wow.
Amazing.
Spoiler alert for the next episode. All right. Sounds great. Vince, what do you got going on?
I got nothing going on. Just enjoying the summer. I plug in the beach. Go check out the beach. It's where there's sun and fun.
Starring Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah. Directed by Danny Boyle of 28 Years Later.
Yes.
I fucking hate the beach. I am a hairy guy. The sand gets goddamn everywhere. I'm not a fan of it, but I did go
Anakin
a couple
Skywalker.
weeks ago. Hold on. Hey, listen. I went a couple of weeks ago and it wasn't so bad. I had a good time. We had beach chairs, which I think makes a big difference. And the most interesting thing to me is that, at least in New York here, they had like people will like advertise on planes that will fly past the beach with like banners hanging behind them with a lot of various things like beers. There was an ad for what's that Bob Odenkirk movie. There's some sequel coming out that he's in, I think.
Oh, Nobody too.
Yeah, Nobody
yeah.
2. I had an ad for that. We had an ad for like don't abort your baby, keep it, or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it said, but it was something along those lines. And I was like, this is very odd for the beach. It was anyways, the beach, not so bad actually. So good plug, Vince. That's what I'm gonna say. Okay.
Beach chairs. Underrated.
Beach chairs. My plug is for like thinking about all this pulpy kind of 40s stuff. Skyman in particular that they were talking about his belt, and just made me think of Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow. Y'all watch that movie? You remember that one?
I did like Sky
I
Captain.
did see it.
Should have made more of those.
Yeah.
Can't believe they didn't.
It reminds me a lot of that Talking with David issue where it's in all black and white except for a few people in color.
I love adventure movies. I love The Phantom, so of course I love Sky Captain.
Yeah, Sky Captain, good movie. That's my plug. If you've never seen Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow, 2004, go watch that movie.
Laurence Olivier posthumous release.
And I'll tell you, it's better than 2 Indiana Jones movies.
Whoa, I'll let you be the judge.
Which 2? Who knows?
Who knows? So yeah, that's it for us this week. I think we're signing off. Vince, I love you.
Love you too, buddy.
Chris, I love you.
When I couldn't think of anything funny to say, I should have said, I know I'm a geek. Cool? No way.
So that's your sign off today. We just calling back to what your original quote should be.
Yeah.
You got nothing to say? Nothing to say to me?
No. Yeah, but compared to you, I'm Chris Isaac.
I forgot that stupid line. I meant to talk about that. God, comics sometimes have the weirdest references. And Chris Isaac in this damn Starman book really sent me. Oh my God.
Chris Isaac's coming to San Antonio like next week.
Is he really?
Yeah.
You gotta go see him and let him
and get him sign this page of my comic.
Yeah, say, do you know you're in this comic, man? Yeah. Good idea.
Some wicked love right there. Wicked game.
Oh wait, this isn't the part where I introduced myself. I said I'm Key. Chris has me confused by doing his quote at the end, and now I'm doing the whole intro again. Now we got to do the whole episode
I called
again.
You Chris Isaac. Now you're
no, listener, we love you as well. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.